All right, let's get into this. Let's see what we got today. Another trade recap, bringing it to you live. Let's go ahead and review what I was looking at. So basically, if you look at the 15-minute, you see it's kind of in the middle of the prior day range. I don't like trading in the prior day range. That's normally not what I'm interested in doing. But I saw a setup that I liked because we broke out of a consolidation through London, right? We're consolidating through London. There was a few other levels I was looking at on my other charts, but basically the idea was this. We saw a strong opening drive. I had marked out a couple levels for potential entry, but I stayed patient. I didn't take anything. And then I saw this nice pullback here. Now my entry was a little bit higher than the price I would have wanted. I would have probably wanted it about 5 points lower, but you do what you got to do. So I took the entry, nearly took the stop. I think it was only a couple points off taking a stop, but the trade worked out. It worked out pretty well. Once it started to break that near-term high, that session high for New York, we really saw some expansion, and that's kind of the setup I was looking for. I was looking for a continuation based on the fact that we were within the prior day range. We had taken a daily level and ran that on the previous day. There was a big swing point on the daily chart that we swung out, that we swept. So I was looking for a continued upside move. Whether or not we break the previous day high, well, that's to be decided. I wasn't really too concerned with that. I was mainly focused on grabbing 50 to 100 points. So my risk was relatively tight on this setup. I thought it was pretty decent. And, normally a setup like this, I don't have this expectation of price for it to move so rapidly. But I mean, when the entry is given to you, what's the harm in taking the trade? Worst case scenario, you take a stop. Stops are normal. That's a normal part of doing business as a trader. You're going to take a loss here or there. And the more refined your system gets, the better you are, dealing with these losses, but also mitigating the unnecessary losses. So if I took a loss on this, I would have been cool and that would have been it. That would have been my Friday. But instead, we saw it start to expand higher, and I was aggressive with the trailing on this just because I didn't know where it was going to top out. Honestly, I said 100 points, but I would have hit that 100 points if my entry was better. You see how that's arbitrary? So when you have an arbitrary target, you have to understand that to trail it, that's like your best asset you could have. If it was something that I was aiming for specifically, if I was aiming for a prior day high, the objective of hitting prior day high that's a pretty reasonable target. So when you have something like that, it's easy to aim for it. In this scenario, I don't know what I'm aiming for, so I'm going to just go ahead and ride it as much as I can. And now you have a few different methods you can use. You can either trail using the prior bar low. In this scenario, I didn't really do too much of that besides when we got to this consolidation that we're looking at right here, just because I know that price can tend to want to dip into some sort of fair value. But as soon as this thing starts expanding through new highs once again, I go ahead and I trail it to the middle of this consolidation that we're looking at right here. The reason I'm doing this is just because, you look at the 5-minute chart, you look at the 15-minute chart, and you see these are just massive, expansive candles. And, the idea is this is going to pretty much run out of steam at some point. We have data at 10 a.m. Right now it's about, I believe, 9:43 in that trade that I'm looking at right here. And yeah, you start to see it like stall out at the highs. That's not the best action I want to see. I want to see some sort of aggression if it's going to truly continue. But it's really no stress to me because we're already up quite a bit relative to what we risked on the day. And we're doing this across multiple accounts. So these are the types of setups I like to see. Sometimes they just fall in your lap, I'm not going to be one to complain. In a scenario like this, my game plan is to personally wait until about 10 a.m. The setup came early, Sometimes stuff comes ahead of schedule, and there's nothing I can do about it other than just react and respond appropriately. And I feel like that's pretty much what I did here today. So I'm going to at least continue to do this series maybe once a week. It takes no effort for me just to sit down, film something on my laptop. So I'm going to keep pushing these out. If you have any sort of suggestions or anything you want to see regarding trading on this channel, let me know. If there's any, maybe not so trading related topics you want me to talk about, I'll hit on those too. But for now, we're pretty much approaching the end of this trade. It's nothing too crazy. 2 contracts, 80 something points across, a couple accounts. Not too bad. So hope you enjoy. Hope you learned something from here. But until next time, take care. Stay safe.